Hi everyone. For my discussion today, I chose dance, specifically high intensity performances like hip hop, jazz, lyrical, things of that sort. Um, I chose dance because it's often overlooked as a demanding form of exercise, and even though people don't see it as something, is very taxing and heavy on the body. And I should know because I am a professional dancer, so I go on tours and things and dance behind artists, various artists. So I would know exactly. And I've been dancing all my life. It's just been a part of my life every day, pretty much. Um, Dancing, it does involve like explosive movement, continuous movement, emotional expression, things like that of the sort. It happens all at the same time, which makes it a great example of discussing how the body produces energy for this. So the energy systems used in dance relies heavily on all three of the systems. So the ATP PRC system, the glycolytic system, and the oxidative system as well. Um, they contribute to change throughout the routine. So at the very beginning, the ATP PRC system is primarily the first immediate source. This helps with like the explosiveness, the jumps, the accents, the turns, the powerful poses. But however, this system only lasts for the first 5 to 10 seconds, and it cannot support you through the routine. And then as the routine continues to go on, especially if it's like a fast paced choreography, which I've been seeing an increase in like choreographers do more fast paced choreography in general. Um, that lasts longer than 30 seconds. I don't know who they think we are, but hey. The glyconic system becomes more dominant. This system actually breaks down the ATP quickly, which allows dancers to keep moving at a higher intensity. However, this is like a byproduct of the hydrogen ions, which contribute to muscle fatigue and burnout. That the burning feeling that dancers feel often midway through the routine. Imagine doing a whole bunch of kicks. You start to feel it in your hip flexor first, then your quads. Usually in like routines, especially like fast paced, you're using all of these muscles, and it's like, whoo, your body starts to feel it. Pinky promise. And then towards the end of the routine, especially during longer performances, like a full routine, so like on tour, depending on like if you are dancing with like a really big name or even some smaller names, they usually have like a set list of things that you have to do, and they be like 4 to 5 to 6 to almost to like 12 to 20 songs. So a show can last to up to 2 3 hours, and you're probably dancing majority of that. So this turns into the oxidative system, which becomes increasingly important. Breathing is my favorite thing to do when I'm dancing because clearly I can't do nothing else. The system uses oxygen to produce ATP more efficiently and supports sustained movement, recovery between intense sections, and overall endurance. So when you see like a dancer come on the stage and then they run back, 9 times out of 10, we are trying to catch our breath. We are trying to breathe because, yeah, even though dance may not look aerobic, all the time, the oxidative system plays a major role in keeping the dancer moving from start to finish, which I think. How the energy systems uses changes over time, which is overall dance starts relies heavily once again, like I said in the beginning, on ATP PRC system, which shifts towards the glycolic system as the intensity increases, which usually happens fairly fast. Then the increase in demand on oxidative system goes up as the routine goes on. Just depending on if you're dancing like a recital or things like that, usually you're dancing for 5 to 10 minutes because that's how they are usually how long they usually are. So you're dancing majority of the time, especially if you're one of the lead dancers. And then instead of just using one system, dancers constantly transition between all of the systems depending on the movement, the intensity, and the duration. Sometimes you have a long set, some long choreography. Sometimes you have a 30-second piece, which is usually my favorite because I can breathe. Factors that influence energy production. So there are two influences. energy that there's two factors that influence energy production during dance, which is oxygen availability and then muscle pH. So oxygen availability plays a huge role in oxidative system function. Dancers with better cardiovascular fitness can deliver oxygen to their muscles more efficiently, where this allows them to um, rely more on their ATP production, recover faster in between like explosive movements, and perform longer with less fatigue. You can tell the difference between a dancer who actually takes their training seriously, so like training outside, so like fitness, exercises and things like that, and you can just tell it from a dancer who just comes in, thinks that they can just hop into the routine without any extra preparation. The second factor is the muscle pH. So like as the glycolic system becomes more active, like I said prior to, the hydrogen ions accumulate in the muscles, which causes the pH to drop in the muscles. So the acidic environment interferes with the enzymes, and the muscles contract, which makes the movements feel more heavier and controlled. So when you see dancers actually like fall out of a turn, or even like they do a jump and it's not as straight as like some of the others, or even if they're doing movements and they're not as clear and concise as they're supposed to be, usually that dancer is burning out by now. And then training adaptations for regular dance training. With consistent dance training, the body adapts to improve energy production and performance. One of the early adaptations is improved, which is the neuromuscular efficiency, meaning that because more precise and energy is required, less energy is needed. So over time, dancers also develop a greater mitochondrial density, which enhances anaerobic energy production and recovery. Another adaptation that is important, which is the buffering capacity, which helps muscles tolerate acidic conditions better, allowing the dancer to maintain high intensities before fatigue sets in. So this adaptation can occur for short and long-term periods. So dancers, seeing like NSYNC, Cat Eye, just boy bands and girl groups or whatnot, they train for years at a time before they even touch the stage, so that when you see them dancing and singing together, their bodies have already adapted to those things. And then practical application. So using the energy systems in dance can be applied in several practical ways. Just training in interval-based choreo, so hitting one dance and then taking a break and going back and forth with things like that. Even just breaking down the dance and learning it in sections is always a great way to help. And then recovery strategies. Recovery is always a big thing for dancers. We always tell you to recover, and because you don't want to, injure yourself or just break down mid-performance. So yeah, proper cool down improvements, oxidation, recovery, and reduced fatigue. And then nutrients is always a key thing. You have to eat good in order to maintain the systems in general and just as overall for your body. Then in conclusion, dance is a complex activity that relies on all three of the systems, so working together. That is understanding how these systems help the dancer train smarter, perform stronger, and maintain fatigue more efficiently. And then I'm also interested into knowing or seeing how various dance styles compare to different types of exercises that are discussed. Thank you.